Peace and power. Peace and power. Hold on, I'm trying to get the book stuff in here. You can go and introduce yourself, Lisa.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lisa. I am a creator. Um, Let me just plug my business, which is called Apples Forever Scents. You can find me on Instagram under Apples Forever Scents. Um, if you're interested in any type of candles, definitely hit me up. Um, I would love to work with you.
Woo woo. Okay, and I'm Nina from Stars by Nina. Check in. It is that season. I am just out here creating, flowing. And so, of course, on all of my social media, Stars by Nina. And then, and let me turn the camera back on. I was standing. Okay. Y'all, I'm at an undisclosed location, and this is what I have to work with. So we are in the room. I'm Nina from Styles by Nina LLC, and I'm a creator as well. I create bath and body and hair care products, and so hit me up. All of my links are usually in my bio. You can go here on YouTube when it says about, Styles by Nina, and the link tree is there. We are coming up on trading, and what is the class called? Mastering. What's the class? Mastering crypto.
Mhm.
I digress.
Yeah.
Okay, so I finally picked a night to have class. I think we're gonna go for whatever day is my Jupiter day. And I'm trying to see that I bring my book. I can look. Hold on. Yep, y'all so lucky. Okay, so my Jupiter day, we're gonna discuss some coins on Jupiter day, and then we're gonna start within the next 2 weeks. Because if I don't start, it'll never get done. Do you know what's your Jupiter day?
Oh, no, not right offhand. I had to
Yeah,
look.
so you will have to look up your cardiology or astrology. So my Jupiter day is on a Tuesday. So class will be on Tuesday night, and oh, I put the same thing again. Class will be on Tuesday night. The class is gonna be mastering crypto, and I'm just hosting a class. It's my last time. Like I said, the class been updated. I'm stretching it out so that I can repeat over and over again because that's how marketing works. I have to start marketing better because I feel like I get a better turnout if I'm building up to the class. And so, like I said, we're gonna begin starting in the next 2 weeks. You can check me out on Twitter, Urban Intellectual at Styles by Nina on Twitter, and that's about it. That's about it. I hope everybody's having a grand rising. We're gonna get into this book. Are you ready, Lisa?
Yes, I am.
We on chapter 9. And y'all drop where y'all listening from in the chat box. We're gonna try to be a little more interactive with y'all too. Shout out to everybody that's been here every week, holding us down. I'm gonna go get me some tissue. Hold on. Like, sure. But yeah, shout out to everybody that's been holding us down.
Yes. Holding us down, being here, interacting with us while we're reading this book. It definitely means a lot because everybody sees and hears things differently. So definitely, we want to shout you out, especially when we are reading the books. A lot of times, you might hear something that we don't. So we definitely want to congratulate you for that.
Right.
We're trying to get this book out to as many men as we can. Our men definitely need healing, so help us to help our men.
You know what, Lisa? That brings me to a vulnerable sharing moment. Um, I have a couple of guy friends, and so we talk about relationships because most of the guy friends I have are in relationships. And so my friend was saying just all these things. And I'm reading this book, and it helps me to acknowledge you're right that I mean do need healing because if you're dating over a certain age, that group of men tends to think that being vulnerable or even nurturing their women is like it's foreign to them. You get what I'm saying? Like the pouring back. And so we were talking, of course, about marriage. And he was saying just all these things. Been knowing each other a long time. And running down a list of things, I'm like, yes. The thing about me is I own all of my character flaws. I
Mm-hmm.
tell people real quick, like, don't model yourself after me. Um, and not because I just be doing a lot of stuff, but I'm not perfect, right? And so he was running down this list of things and what it just and how I translated. I don't know. I could be wrong. Um, Men will see your faults and the good and still be committed to being a certain type of guy instead of embracing change. And that's why we do need the healer archetype to come online in our men.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like if nobody's nurturing the mother, then how's everybody else gonna be happy?
Right. That's right. That's so true.
I don't know, but he was saying that's about I. That's what he was saying. You keep talking about the things you want, and it's just like, yeah, I can't speak for the other person. What I know for me right now at this point in my life is what I do want in my relationship.
Mm-hmm.
For years, I did not know. I did not know. Like I was going into relationship after relationship, not knowing what it was that I wanted, and always trying to be what the other person wants. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Maybe it's me, but I didn't think that was too healthy for me.
Yeah, and I know in the time that we are in a time where there are a lot of divorces being, a lot of couples are breaking up. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to something yesterday and or reading something yesterday, and it did state that right now we are in the time where a lot of couples are divorcing. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the reason may be, but I think if our man did have some type of healing, then it definitely would stop a lot of divorces.
And I saw a clip this week from a therapist, and what she was saying was generally couples come in, men one first thing they don't want a female therapist, right? And she
Mm-hmm.
said if they don't listen to their woman, they're not gonna listen to her. Then she went on to say, so they'll come in, the wife will be letting the man know, and then the man will say either two things I didn't know. And then she said, and there's the other man that acknowledges it and he changes for about a month, right? And she said, next thing you know, the women are filing for divorce, and the men are calling her at that point, and she just be letting them know like it's too late. Once a woman check all the way out, it's hard to get that back. And
Right.
so it's sad, but at this point, I am choosing my own happiness. Like I can't stress that enough. If you are in a situation and you feel like because you took some type of oath that belongs to another culture, I'm gonna be clear, and you gonna do that to death do you part, then so be it. My other thing is like all these married people out here giving horrible ass marriage advice, telling people to stay because you stayed and you like being in that dry situation. It's not natural. It makes no sense. Like, please.
Yeah.
And married people do be giving out wrong advice, and I just be thinking to myself like, misery loves company. No offense to none of my friends that's married. Shout out to y'all. Anybody that makes it past year 10, you pretty much are good. You know, a lot of people get to that 10 and it'll make or break you. 10 is completion. And so either you're gonna be complete or you're gonna continue the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people get off before year 10, and a lot of people get out at year 10. Because you know at that point whether you're going to continue to waste your time or not. And so, me personally, I don't live the life to waste a lot of time. I just, if it's selfish, I choose me. So,
Right.
that's the point of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Like I said, I know a lot of married people. I know a lot of Libras that are married too, and Capricorn. Capricorn is longevity. They usually stay married, and then that Libra is usually gonna stick it out too. All the other signs, we might be immature, stuff, whatever you call it, but we
Mm-hmm.
do not be. We and for me, and I'm gonna say me, and I look in my astrology chart, and so where my Venus is, or one of the placements. It could be the placement for partnership. It just says that I'm one of those people that's gonna transform relationships, like the norm. I will be one of those folks that have outside of the norm relationships, and at this point, I'm okay with it. Growing up in the church, you try to live a certain standard, but when you out and then you understand self and your chart, then you know your place. Everybody can't be married to death. Like I said, it sounds good. I don't know. That's a long time. And so some people are going to be divorced. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's just a vulnerable moment, y'all. I've been on my little staycation. I had time to think. And I was like, yeah, because even all the married people I know, they're married, but they're not happy. It's weird.
Mm.
What you think, Lisa? Give me some wisdom. I'm like,
I mean, I don't know. It all. I think it all depends on the individual. Um,
mm-hmm,
sometimes people stay together maybe because that's all they know. Like, if
mm-hmm,
you've been with a person longer than 20, 30 years,
mm-hmm.
you might not want to get back out there because, you that person is all you know. You know what I
Right.
mean? Um, so they stay with that individual because I think it's the fear of the unknown. They don't want to go back out there and start all over again.
Oh, that's deep. Yeah.
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 So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it all
How
depends.
long were you married?
Was I married?
No, how long were you married?
38.
Yeah. Yeah.
38.
The fear of the unknown. You said a mouthful there, because I go through those moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. That's why I say it's the individual,
Mm-hmm.
I think. But the ultimate goal is, not for you to be upset and, you know, living a lie. Like if you're not happy, hopefully you will want to change that and move on. But some people just don't.
Well, girl, this getting deep. Okay, so since you said that, what I think about is the counterfeit personality, because it's like, yes, you can show up every day and really not feel like showing up, or you can show up every day and still be in that situation and not just totally collapse or kill over. It's
Mhm.
doable, but is that you being true to yourself? Because I would rather be true to myself than to show up every day as a counterfeit.
And I think this is how we are now realizing that we need to show up for ourselves and not for the other person.
Woo, Lisa passed the collection plate. That baby, we done had church. I'm telling you. That is facts.
Yes.
Facts. Show up for yourself and not the other person. Girl, they just gave me a little chill in my stomach, child.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what it is. Um, like I said, no offense to my friends that's gonna watch this. Y'all know I'm gonna talk about relationship. I'm a Venus and Libra. I talk about relationships. I live it. The other things like my friend was just giving me this fear-based advice and just saying, and people tell me all the time, it's gonna be hard getting back out there, and might not be nothing left, and just all this stuff. And it's just like, yeah, but before I still be counterfeit, I would rather take my chances.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, and sometimes the universe will bring it back to you if it's meant. But just in general, I'm showing up for me in relationships. And that starts now. And it don't start by being afraid to be single. It just don't. So yeah. And I do receive the effects. It's going to be a cause and effect, because when you have children and you separate, then it doesn't just affect you.
Right.
That's another reason women stay. They don't want to hurt their children. And
Mm-hmm.
I've thought about that too, but I feel like it's more hurtful to show up to my child in a counterfeit personality as well. And for him to watch me on certain levels of self neglect. You growing up watching your mom literally neglect herself, because moms give a lot to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so just taking a stance, like, yeah, I'm gonna show up for me in my next relationship, and I take full ownership for this one, because like I said, I didn't know what I wanted in a relationship. If you would have asked me 10 years ago, what is it do I want in a relationship, I did not know. That was the answer. And I jumped into a relationship not knowing. And so this is the fallout of that. You gotta know. And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I appreciate you, Lisa. Because
Yeah, I appreciate you too. Because with that being said, I think when we jump into relationships, we don't know. We don't. What is the actual true definition of a relationship? Everybody's definition of a relationship is totally different. Like yours can be love, mine can be security. So it all depends on the individual and what their actually definition, what does it mean to them
yeah,
for in a relationship?
yeah. And that's what it is. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out, it's connected, right? Yeah. Okay. All right, so we're gonna get into chapter 9. I love that now we're in a place of comfort in this book. We can share more and have these type of conversations with y'all, being a little more personal. We don't want to just be a book club that we read it straight through, because we have different opinions, we've lived different lives, and so yeah, want to get into chapter 9. Are we gonna do 9 and 10?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you gonna start?
Okay. Chapter 9, The Way of the Hunter. The icon is a hunter with a bow and arrow poised to shoot. Traits: the ability to be accountable for and responsible for the welfare of others. Now, did you hear what I just read? The ability to be accountable for and responsible for the welfare of others. The word husband is derived from a word for farmer, a steward of the land. The hunter is the steward of the family. The hunter is a predator. The nature of this energy is violence. To hunt implies to kill. Nothing lives in this world unless something dies. Little boys fight over toys and things. It is their nature. They can become quite vicious. All life glorifies and desires power. The power to end life is ultimate power. Second, only to the power to create life. If a man only brings his hunter energy online and no other archetypes, this can be a red flag. Note that if such a man is not very evolved, it is he is not mature. He is still in the juvenile phase, the Saho phase. This is a dangerous man. If he is still stuck in the first brain circuit, it is still operating with his reptile brain. This is a most dangerous man. Such a man will kill at a whim. He will trample on the rights of others. He is a tyrant and a bully. He must be restrained. Under no circumstances shall he hold public office or have a high position in the army or police. This is a receipt for great disaster. Under no circumstance should a woman marry and produce children with such a man. Much of the evil done in this world, much of the needles violence, the massacres, the mass murderers, the psychopaths, the senseless wars are often the product of these men. Thus, we must take care with this archetype, with this energy. The hunter should not be the first energy cultivated in a boy, unless he lives in a warrior clan and the clan is at war. It is always best that a man have at least one other archetype active to balance out the hunter. Neighborhoods would be well to observe the teens. When you see violence at schools, bullies, cruelty to animals, disrespect to women, you might be looking at imbalanced hunter energy. Attack the issue early. Assign that teen to an older man with warrior energy. He can straighten out the boy quick. If the woman get out the way, turn the cameras off, there may be some pain and screams, but some level of violence is necessary. But if you don't address this early, you will expose many victims to a monster later. So the hunter is bad, right? We see that men in uniform abuse the office of the police all over the world on a regular. They delight in performing the most evil of deeds, beating, killing, raping, and locking up people without any cause. They ruin lives and are responsible for much of the evil in the world. Men in the army are next, worse in their abuse of the role and oppression of others. Over the years, the hunter has used religion as the greatest reason why he justifies his malicious and hateful deeds. We see millions of men who abuse women on a regular. Prison guards who look forward to abusing the inmates under their care. So the hunter is bad, right? No, he is not. He is a shark, bad when he eats a fish. Is a hawk bad when he kills and eats a rabbit? No. This is what hawks do. In most species, the killer instinct is not directed at members of the same species. Hawks flash at each other over territory violation. A few feathers are lost, but nothing more. Bears clash over territory. One might get a bad wound, but that is the extent of it. It is about survival. But in our modern machine culture, humans have gotten way out of their natural patterns. Normally, the hunter is a hardworking, dedicated, responsible member of the community. He has no desire to hurt or abuse anybody. His aggression is channeled into fixing problems and making money. Human men will not hunt other members of the human species if they recognize them as human. And here, indeed, is the problem. If we demonize a subgroup as non-human, it makes it easier to program the hunter energy to prosecute them. He does not recognize these other men as part of its herd, but as it women, part as it hive, part of its tribe. Many men remain stuck in the reptile brain. This is mainly the result of war, orphans, homeless people, poverty, and single parent households. The reptile brain and the hunter energy is a dangerous combination. Religion is a primary process, though which one group is elevated to higher than human status, while those who are not members of that religion are reduced to a lower than human status. Economic class or caste is used to reduce the poor to peasants, or in other words, less than human. Race is the third major identifier to brand one group as above human, while those not of that race are subhuman. Social engineers know that if any one of the catalysts are introduced, the target group will be attacked. They simply introduce a theme of religion, the racial theme, or the class theme. Those people are the wrong religion, or the wrong race, or they are poor and will bring the property values down. It is the men with the reptile brains and negative hunter energy who will attack. He does the work of the social engineers like a puppet on a string. The hunter is competitive. It is a trait that is necessary to do the task at hand. In the DNA, in the pure sense, the attribute here is a desire to evolve. In other words, for the man to be better tomorrow than he was yesterday. In the lower phases, prior to that point where he has completed his development, this trait manifests as competition with other men. This is natural, and the desire of men to become alpha male is not a negative thing or a sign of dysfunction. Male competition is directly tied to the male code of life. The more society places real value on honor, the more male competition has a good outcome. The less value society places on honor in men, the more destructive is the outcome of male competition. Take time for that one. The man code is at the heart of all male behavior and the boundary he lives by. The more his peer group values honor, the more structured the competition is. Team sports at the amateur level, uplifting boys, is an example of this dynamic. But add commerce, millions of dollars, and remove the virtue, and the outcome is stripped of any progressive benefit. For males live via a sacred code of men, and when this code is removed, so is their virtue. In the absence of a code, there is no sacred value of life. Because we have removed that code and replaced it with a machine culture, we now witness the disastrous results of this absence. The hunter kills to provide food. However, his nature still remains, even if hunting game is not necessary to provide food. The hunters desire to be the alpha male, can be expressed via owning a superior house, a better car, an upscale job, or through any means whereby he shows himself superior in some way to other men. Understand the hunter is without fear. Fear is for the prey. You can always identify the males with hunter energy, for they are not the least bit afraid to go into danger. Not only is he not afraid to go into danger, he is aroused by the danger. A test or challenge sparks him. In contrast, while the warrior feels the fear, but his courage allows him to master it, and he too charges ahead and confronts the danger. Remember, when a lion, bear, or fox leaves the nest heading out to hunt, fear is not a concern. It is a mindset that is neither good nor bad, it just is. As a boy, I liked driving my car fast because it was dangerous. I went into haunted houses and walked through the woods at night, hoping to encounter some danger. That is the nature of the teen hunter. He can be foolish. The hunter always thinks he is superior to the danger. Thus, the old hunters are needed to restrain and caution the young hunters. Otherwise, the foolishness of the young hunter will get him killed. Even though the bear can kill you, the young hunter does not fear the bear. And the bear has no problem killing the young hunter if he charges into the cave alone. Fear is good in this context, and main reason for man's fear is to stay alive. The hunter is fearless. Man is the most deadly predator of all animals. But understand that even a deer or a pig can kill you. An alligator can be killed or crippled by a hippo if it does not learn to fear it. A leopard can be killed by a hyena if he does not learn fear. If the hunter has any other archetype alive, active, he will be cautious and will be okay. But if it is just the hunter energy there, he is not smart enough to be killed of much. He is in danger and needs firm help. Women get sentimental and foolish about it, but an old hunter male snatching a young hunter and slapping the mess out of him can save his life. Although it appears barbaric and cruel at the time, it is not only necessary, but an effective way to chastise an immature hunter. There are some rude boys who do not need to be around women a lot. They need a tough male with a firm hand to ride them hard. I got to repeat that one more time. There are some rude boys who do not need to be around women a lot. They need a tough male with a firm hand to ride them hard. It is like refining metal from ore. The fire is hot, but you can't hurt iron. These boys are tough. You can push them around and give them a pounding, and they not only will be okay, but better for it. In the juvenile phase, life for the hunter is always about the trophy. Fully developed, he readily and happily assumes the responsibility for the welfare of others. He will sacrifice and do whatever it takes so that those he is responsible for having all in his circle of responsibility, having all that they need. The hunter in a natural setting is as benign and harmless as a healer. It is evil societies that distort and twist the hunter's energy. The normal hunter will give you the shirt off his back, his last dime, and the food off his plate while thinking nothing of it. For in his mind, he can easily get more. Possession and paternity. One aspect of the hunter energy is his tendency to be paternal. He has a strong bond to his wife and family and clan. If you are inside one of his circles, one of his boundaries, he will take care of you. Understand that hunter does not see this as a burden, but rather a duty and an obligation that he takes pride in doing. In the case of a superior man or a divine man, this paternal tendency is all good. In the case of a juvenile man, when his hunter energy is not fully developed, he tends to see his wife as a possession. The immature hunter sees himself more as her owner than just her caretaker. And that's deep. That I just got to repeat that again because I can definitely relate with that.
That's deep. Okay.
Yeah, the immature hunter sees himself more as her owner than just her caretaker. And I see that a lot.
And it don't feel good for nobody to be trying to own you.
Right.
But I get it, from male perspective. Yeah, that's deep. So you gonna stop after this one and then I pick up?
Well, I was thinking I would read the 71 because it's 5 pages left. It was 10 pages in total.
What, both chapters?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. The immature hunter sees himself more as her owner than just her caretaker. This presents certain obvious problems because no human is a possession of another. A marriage license is only an agreement of partnership. That is all. You can say all the religious words and perform all the ceremonies you want, but God never grants one person any rights over the freedom of another person. It just does not happen in nature. Your minister can quote all the holy books and clergy he wants, but that changes nothing. God does not change his policy just because a human wearing a robe and holding a book says so. And it is sheer nonsense to think so. Likewise, parents do not own their children, but are merely their caretakers. Neither should the state government ever involve itself in either marriage or divorce. The man with a negative hunter energy never wants to give up his role as leader. So he is not grooming the wife to catch up and gradually learn for herself. No, he wants her to become more and more dependent and to always be dependent on him. He desires to possess her, control her, and to shape and mold her into his perfect subject. When his correct job is to support her development into a better and better woman who in time no longer needs his advice or assistance with standard domestic issues, while being fully capable of giving advice on her own. The hunter tends to spoil and is possessive of female children. He's a patriarch and tends to mentor his male children, but may be somewhat rigid in his expectations of them. In men, This hunter energy brings about the army. To adult females, this energy induces adoration and submission. However, females who express a strong treasure chest energy hold influence over the hunter, becoming the power behind his throne. In extreme cases, such women may even come to dominate him. In nature, the yin and feminine element is not aggressive against other life forms. The yang male is a hunter, but the yin female is a gatherer. Hunting is yang, gathering is yin. Hunting implies that you are going to kill and violate what you hunt. Hunting implies scarcity, whereas gathering implies abundance. I got to say that again. Hunting implies scarcity, whereas gathering implies abundance. So this is why it's so important for us to gather, because this is abundance.
Absolutely right. And we are operating in scarcity. And then go back to what we was talking about before, how when you think in your mind that if you start over, there's not going to be any more people out there for you. That's scarcity thoughts.
Yep.
There's a lot of people in the world. You might have to move to another state, move to another country, but there's a lot of people. And so
you do have to move. It's okay.
Right. Right. We have taken on hold on. We done took on other cultures, and the thought that staying in one place forever is healthy is not. The ancestors traveled. They traveled. They migrated according to season. And then the migration of course was influenced. But moving around is good. Sometimes you need a reset.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And you talking to two people that have moved. Lisa moved from where she was born, and I did too. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. If the juvenile hunter energy has any other energy online to balance it, this need to control and possess is not a problem, or at least less of a problem. However, if only the distorted hunter energy is there, it is in the juvenile phase, then Houston, we have a problem. If we had a business partner, we certainly want them to make good decisions, do their share of the work, and bring as many talents to the table as possible. Why would a man want something different in a wife? Sounds logical. But because an independent person cannot be possessed, he will try to ensure that his partner remains dependent. A similar dynamic is true for children. All men must self-evaluate and take a hard look at yourself. There may be no one else with the authority to correct you, so it is your responsibility to correct and punish yourself when errors in behavior are discovered. Did you just hear that?
Read that again. Oh, shoot.
It says, all men must self-evaluate and take a hard look at yourself. There may be no one else with the authority to correct you, so it is your responsibility to correct and punish yourself when errors in behavior are discovered. That's taking ownership. You got to own up to it.
And stop acting like it's foreign for women to change. Women change overnight,
Mm-hmm.
every day. It's like, yes, and you have to be able to adjust and not, you following the moods or swings of a woman, but evolve, evolve. Because I think my friend brought up his granddad and just was saying how, granddad used to come home. Um, Lisa, I think your camera froze. I don't know. Touch your screen on your phone. I think it's been froze for a while. But anyway, how granddad, he used to just provide and come home. He didn't say much.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't witness him unless you were lucky, just nurturing the mom of the house. And so
Mm-hmm.
that became a thing. And I understand that some men, that's what they are. If you with somebody and they don't show any affection, men show affection through finances. And so maybe he just provides. It's cool for the person that only needs that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's not a one size fit all thing.
That's
And we
true.
and then he was saying, you might be lucky to get that. And I'm not discounting it. You might be lucky if the individual person considers that to be lucky. Like Lisa said, it just depends on what it is that you need from your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
retyping.
I,
But
I,
yeah,
yeah.
it
I think,
starts at ownership though. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You there, Lisa?
Yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Okay. Um, the next thing it says, take this seriously. When you control the money supply, it is an awesome power. And you just said that, Nina. Think of employees at work who are afraid to question obviously flawed company policies for fear of losing their jobs. Many companies have gone bankrupt for this. But don't be foolish. Power can blind you and result in you bankrupting your relationship. Those you care about will hurt first, but you will hurt last. And by far, your behind will suffer the most. Our warning is serious. Many former male tyrants have sat in my office, head bowed in sadness and shame, seeking my help to correct this kind of disaster. In life that is not easily corrected. Their money made them arrogant and they pushed to the limit, and their family life came crashing down. Don't be like Humpty Dumpty, hard to put back together again. Fight the urge to possess and restrict your wife. Where the hunter fails. When men go out hunting, they do not always kill something. One time, we went deep sea fishing with my cousin for 6 hours with not one bite. After 6 hours of failure to catch anything, we detoured for 2 hours after we returned to shore to visit a live fish market. To avoid his wife knowing on his ego for a week after he got up at 5 a.m. and spent $180 on the boat and tackle and returning with nothing, my cousin brought a large blue fish to avoid going home with an empty chest. But the reaction to a hunter failing can be far more serious than this. These days, hunters go hunting in the woods for sport. Their families will,
Lisa,
huh?
it's something interfering with your sound.
Mm,
So at the end of your speech, it's like feedback.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, it stopped now. Are you next to a computer or anything like a radio?
Mm-mm.
I don't know what it is. Is it Mercury retrograde? Okay, all right. I'm gonna mute.
We are still in retrograde though. All right, how do I sound now before I start?
It sounds clear now. I'm just thinking maybe Rachel said it sounds good to her. She can't hear no feedback. Maybe it's this computer. Maybe it's my Wi-Fi child. Okay, I'm gonna mute.
Okay. These days, hunters go hunting in the woods for sport. Their families will eat whether they kill any game or not. But what if a man loses his business or he loses his job? My father lost his job that he had held for 21 years when the company shut down and all its employees go. And he had that strong hunter energy. There was very little severance. He had a confined rent at work and came home and threw a tantrum. He was depressed for a time after that. As an adult, a friend of mine lost a very lucrative job. He went into a tailspin, moved out of his house, lied to his wife, got drunk often, and went into a deep funk. He was beyond depressed and absolutely refused to explain to his wife what happened. He yelled at us, his friends, and would not explain why. His anger and emotion became so high, I thought he would start a fight. But we yelled back and forced the issue. In the end, one of his women, in the end, one of us told his wife. The story is too long and too complex to share in its entirety. But let's say for the next 2 weeks, there was a high drama with things being touch and go. Him going on a declining path of self destruction that was completely illogical. This was typical Hunter stuff. 6 months later, he had a good job again and everything was back to normal. His wife went back his wife went to work and they ended up with more income than before. His wife was completely surprised and baffled by his reaction. And here is the thing. All of the men in our little group had good jobs in corporate America. Of the bunch, he was by far the one who could find a new job the easiest because his resume was golden. His resume, I'm sorry, was golden. He defined himself as an alpha male, and that is why he had such a terrible reaction. He adamantly refused to define himself any other way. You want to pick up from here?
Okay. Another example is an associate who played pro football. In the middle of his second year, he suffered an injury and was cut from the team, thus ending his pro career. He cut off communication to everybody except his girlfriend. She reported that for the next year, she lived in a form of hell. Because my associate defined himself as an alpha male, he selected a cute trophy woman for his girlfriend. His car was a luxury car and his house a dream home. About 4 years later, after his pro career ended, he attempted suicide by driving his car off of a bridge. Fortunately, the car landed on a tall tree and maintenance scaffolding, and he suffered only minor injuries. At this time, although he had lost his status as a pro football player, he still had the dream house, the same luxury car, and the same trophy wife. The suicide event finally caused him to redefine himself and reevaluate his life. When the hunter cannot produce up to his standards, it is experienced as trauma. They normally do not deal with this loss of an alpha male status well. Our advice is not our advice is to not completely define yourself by what you are able to achieve and what income you are able to produce. Your material wealth is not who you are. The crisis typically arises when you least wish it to. Therefore, define yourself based on your DNA, not your CP, and always have a backup plan. Swallow your pride and ask for help when you need it. The true alpha male can succeed and excel in more than one arena. Know this in your heart, even if your bank account does not reflect it. The true master has failed 10 times more than the juvenile male has tried. Do not define yourself by failure, but more importantly, do not solely define yourself by high achievement. Neither reflects your true worth or what you can become. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 9, which was awakening the hunter. The way of the hunter. And then we're about to read chapter 10, which is awakening the hunter archetype energy. Okay, so let me put chapter 10 into the chat. Anything stood out to you, Lisa, in that? Oh, it's probably muted. I can't hear you.
All this time I was sitting up here talking and didn't know I was on mute.
Wow, I'm like.
Anyway, what stood out for me was, when it talked about being able to own up to things that you take ownership.
Mm-hmm.
The female is not your what's the word I'm looking for? Your possession.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
For me, it was all that. It's like, because I've experienced time and time again. And I think about women who like a certain type of bad guy. I think that is a true reflection of the hunter energy only online, or a lot of the hunter energy. And so sometimes, they can be predators, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, I typed it in the chat. Now I'm going to put it on the screen so we can start chapter 10. I'm trying. Okay. Chapter 10. The icon is a hunter with a bow and arrow poised to shoot. To awaken the hunter archetype energy in a male, we recommend the following. An apprenticeship program in which the male seeking to gain the hunter is paired with a mentor who already has this energy active, and an apprentice learning the skills as an entrepreneur, either on the job or through an incubator project. The ritual and initiation of second puberty and having a child. The hunter is a predator. His nature is violence. To hunt implies to kill. Nothing lives in this world unless something dies. Is this the same chapter? Or he just reiterating? Hold on.
I think he just reiterating, but no, it's a different chapter.
Okay. Okay. He glorifies and desires power. So is the hunter bad? We see that men in uniform regularly abuse the office of the police all over the world. They delight in performing the most evil deeds of They delight in performing the most evil of deeds, beating, killing, raping, and locking up people without any cause. These undeveloped hunters are responsible for much of the evil in the world. And it is the same immature hunter energy that abuse women regularly. We naturally may jump to the conclusion that the hunter is bad, but no, he is not bad. Is a shark bad when he eats fish? Is a hawk bad when he kills and eats a rabbit? No. This is what hawks do naturally. This is what hawks naturally do. The hunter energy is essentially to be a good provider and a good husband. It is the core energy necessary to be a good father. The full awakening of the hunter energy has to be done. When the hunter energy is not fully awakened, that is when we witness the aberrations of this energy. However, we must take care to do this properly. Understand that the hunter is not like the warrior. The warrior is noble. The hunter is cunning and treacherous. If a man is leading with his warrior energy, you can kind of trust him a little. But if a man is leading with his hunter, you better keep your eyes on him. He might be dangerous. In fact, he probably is. The warrior will face you head on and fight fair. The hunter will shank you in the bathroom. The warrior is a great stallion running proud over the plains. The hunter is a crocodile waiting for you to get too close to the edge of the water. The hunter is fierce, mean, and will seek to obtain his goal by any means necessary. It is his strength, but also his weakness. So balance is super critical here. The hunter must be balanced with other energies. This can mean the difference between a supreme success and a colossal disaster. When you see a vicious drug dealer, a gang leader, a shrewd cutthroat executive, you are looking at the hunter energy in juvenile phase, in imbalance. In juvenile phase, in imbalance. A great example of what I am talking about is depicted in the movie The Godfather. The leaders of that crime family are classic examples of the hunter energy gone astray. You may not give a darn about other men, society, or what people think about you, but consider your children. For their sake, pay close attention to these words. We are going to give it to you straight and raw. You will need to take heed and profit, or you will plow forward stubbornly and find disaster waiting for you. In the early stages of awakening, the hunter begins to redefine the definition of assets and how to acquire them. This means developing a mindset to save money versus spending. This skill requires the imposition of the will over the desires of appetites and emotions. Most spending is emotional and not necessary. The act of building up a pool of currency to invest is the first step in arousing the hunter energy. He is a seller, whereas other men are buyers. The hunter is looking to export his goods and services, while other men are looking to import. This is how he hunts. This is the predator in motion, and his prey is money. This is a common theme of all hunters, but depending on his level of evolution, he will go about his tasks in very different ways. And depending on how much this energy is activated and the degree to which his full hunter is online, what he does with the money and how he views money will vary by a very great degree. For the inspired hunter is a profit for the abundance model. The scarcity model and the false beliefs connected to scarcity suppress and distort this archetype energy. The hunter at all levels of evolution recognizes the abundance and takes from the abundance. He moves money and assets away from the control of others to bring it under his control. At the Sahu level, He sees money and assets as extensions of himself. He possesses the money. This in turn causes him to lose much of his money because it does not recycle in an open circuit. The circuit is closed and no recycling can take place due to his greed. At the ab level, he sees money as currency and a means to an end. He is not attached to the money and thus allows a limited amount to circulate, enabling some recycling. He applies to the currency goals. He applies the currency to goals, which may or may not be personal in nature. At the bot or divine level, he sees money as energy. Money becomes a current or an agency of doing. This money flows through rivers and resembles a living thing more so than a currency. His money starts to take on a DNA, a consciousness, which acts according to his own DNA. Money is now woven into the life force and acts to shape and build society in the likeness of nature. He is the master of money. The ecosystem of money is constantly growing and wealth is created as it is needed. It just reminds me too, about being married to somebody or being coupled with somebody that has a scarcity mindset. You can't manifest abundance with a scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
And so I see that a lot often. You know, it's like, hold on, y'all. I gotta put this chart on here, but I don't want to keep reading and y'all not looking at it.
Oh yeah, that's right. The chart.
Mm-hmm. So,
That's why it's always important, I think. I mean, I know we don't, um, especially when you're meeting someone new, you really don't know how y'all can relate to one another. So I
mm-hmm.
think that's why it's so important for you to get to know a person instead of just, you know, oh, this person is for me. I just
Yeah,
think you should have some type of similarities, if that makes
yeah.
sense.
Well, they say in the church, you have to be equally yoked. If you don't have no similarities, that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, yeah,
You have to be equally yoked. You have to be able to come on, and then like they were going over in the female version of the book, there has to be a common plan. What did it say? It says it was talking about how men have the vision, and women have the ability to bring the vision to life.
mhm,
And so that's really important. If you're not on the same page with the vision, how can you bring anything to life?
that's true. That's true.
It's gonna be a problem. So okay, so I'm sending off the oh yeah, and that's another thing. When people get married, girl, hold on, I'm trying to send off the chart. Okay, when people get married, I've seen it happen both ways. Get married to a total stranger or not. Sometimes it works and sometimes it don't.
Yeah, like even since you mentioned that, let's say how when people get married, um, to keep somebody else in the country, I think for a visa, how some people get
Mm-hmm.
married, they don't know
Mm-hmm.
each other at all,
Right.
but you taking that oath and you don't know the person.
Well, sometimes people do that and they don't intend on staying married, or they don't, because I know a couple of people that did. But
Okay.
in other countries and other cultures, that's why they arrange marriages.
Yeah, yeah, and I think we
Because
talked about that before.
yeah, they were following the common goal of the family's wealth. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
bloodline. So at least the goal is climbing. Hmm. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm streaming on my phone, so I'm just trying to get the email for the picture. It's coming.
Yeah, it's just a lot.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let me see. It ain't giving me nothing.
It's
All
not.
right, so I guess we'll just go over the chart. Yeah, I'll add it as soon as it stops spinning. It's just spinning. So you have a level, and the categories on the level are source of money, and then who dispersed to. And so it says Sahu, which is the inferior man. The source of money would be for the inferior man any source and any means, trade, interest from loans, thievery, assets. And it would be dispersed to family and require legal ties to tribe. And they will hoard. And that's the inferior man. They would disperse this money to family and require legal ties to tribe. And they tend to hoard. Now, an ab, which is the superior man, it looked like it came up. Let me see. Mhm. So for ab, the superior man, the source of money would be only trades of equal value from nature, products and services that do not harm, and from assets. And then who it would be dispersed to from the superior man or the ab is family, tribe, charity, and investments, more assets. So they wouldn't try to hoard the money. How they be telling us to save it in the bank, that's hoarding. They would disperse it to family, tribe, charity, and investments. Other ways to make more money and more assets. Now the Ba is the divine man, and the Ba's or the Ba's money or source of money would be from manifestation, gifts, assets that progress human society. And who would the Ba disperse their source of money to? It would be the tribe and causes which progress human society and organizations that restore natural society. So that's who they would give their money to. And Rachel said, right, Lisa, give it observant time. Yes, we discussed that in astrology too, how you're supposed to date throughout the chart for at least a couple of cycles in the chart just to see if you and that person are compatible. Because when you first meet somebody, that counterfeit personality shows up. Lisa, you still there?
You can't hear me? You can you see
Now I
me?
can. I can now. Hello?
Here. I'm here. Can you see
Oh.
me?
Well, the screen been froze on. Oh, I can see you over here. I can see you on my phone. I can't see you on the computer. It's been froze for
Okay.
forever. Okay, so were you saying anything?
No, I just agree with what you said that Rachel said that counterfeit personality shows up. I totally
Oh,
agree. Yeah.
yeah. Rachel was saying give it an observant time, like give it
Yeah.
some time so you can see. So to the Sahu hunter, money is seen only in the context of I. To the ab or superior hunter, money is seen only in the context of we. And to the ba hunter, money is seen in the context of it. One is short term, the second is mid term, the last is a continuum, a constant stream that is in balance. So the evolution or awakening of the hunter is directly tied to his perception of money. It is natural for him to first see it in the context of I, in the same way that the warrior studies and masters the art of war, so the hunter must study and master the art of money, just as a warrior masters and knows his weapon, or a farmer masters and knows the soil. So a hunter must master and know money. The hunter builds an altar to money and meditates upon its virtues and vices. He invokes the angels of blessings and communes with them to become enlightened. In all things, he attempts to develop a relationship with money that brings him closer to his original natal self. The hunter surrounds himself with people and things and activities that invoke abundance and distances himself from people and things and activities that feed into scarcity. Now, the hunter must understand the true meaning of an asset and how to construct and manage his assets via a natural model. His assets must meet two key criteria. First, his assets must, the means via which he obtains money, must be sustainable. Sustainable is talking about a condition that remains consistent throughout all of the cycles. Second, his assets must produce prosperity. Prosperity speaks to general well being, not just a state of wealth. If the possession of the wealth brings pain, it is not true wealth. So, this energy is driving the man to extract value from his environment, both from people and activity. Real prosperity generation must happen in such a way that nothing is reduced nor can there be a net decline. The hunter takes as much as he can from the environment, but never at a rate faster than nature or society can replace the resource, thereby maintaining a balance of ecology. Because nature produces abundantly, the hunter is guaranteed prosperity. Let me say that again. Because nature produces abundantly, the hunter is guaranteed prosperity. Now then, how is the hunter's general welfare made secure? How do we ensure that he can enjoy his abundance after he acquires it? This is only possible in a climate of peace and well-being of everyone in his vicinity. His family, tribe, and peers must also be secure. He must share with them. And here is where we separate the superior men from inferior men. Child, let me see if it's ready. Child, the chart never came up. Okay, so I guess that's not going. Okay. All right, y'all. Maybe we can put the chart up next time. So this is what we're gonna separate the superior man from inferior. Who can share who can share and who resists sharing. This is what we separate to. Who can share and who resists sharing. During his apprentice phase, the mentor must his hunter in training to recycle his profits. Smile. Can you see this? He learns how to make money only to give much of it away. At this time, the young novice hunter must do his meditations and introspection. He must push himself out of the I phase and into the we. He then becomes a hub in the middle of money distribution wheel. He then becomes a hub in the middle of a money distribution wheel. There is pain at first. He is disbursing hard-earned currency. He gives as gifts. He gives as gifts, investments, grants, and loans, but risky loans. These investments are in people, and maybe the business plan is pretty shaky. Normally, a shrewd hunter would avoid this, but two things will happen. The novice hunter will make more money to replace what he gave away, replace that he gave away, and he will discover that dispersing money makes him popular. Giving his money away gains him more than keeping it. He learns the key to prosperity, and even some of the bad loans or risky investments may pan out. A theme of unity is implied here because a theme of prosperity implies unity. He has used his money to unite people around him. Great good fortune. Otherwise, other men in the hunter's vicinity will try and take his abundance from him. He does not wish to take 4 steps forward, only to be forced to take 3 steps backward. The hunter is strategic and wants to move steadily forward. The stress alone of having to worry about his wealth is enough to show the wisdom of his path, of this path. Hmm. So being able to give instead of hoard presents you a continuum of abundance and prosperity. And that's what it is. Like people do truly hold on to money and hold it in such a concrete fashion because they don't believe that it'll come back to them.
Yep.
And
I
my
know.
character, what you gonna say?
No, I was just going to say, I know for me, I love to save, and, by reading this book and other books in the past, I have learned that why hold on to it?
It's gonna come right.
You can't take it with you.
Right.
And if you manifest it, it's going to come right back.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And look, my character flaw is I live by the opposite. I will spend my last or give my last. I don't care because I know it'll come back.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So y'all, we just read chapter 9 and 10. Chapter 9 is the way of the hunter, and then chapter 10 was awakening the hunter archetype energy. Does anybody have anything to say? If not, we're gonna get out of here. Rachel, what stood out to you? I know you here. Well, yeah. I was asking Rachel she said, "Thank you, ladies, for reading the book."
You're welcome, Rachel.
Yeah, girl. This book is so good. For me, like I said, the part where he's talking about manifesting, it's like I think our men got stuck in a mindset of you having to work hard for your money. And it's like, no, it's the total opposite. It'll come back to you. Yes, of course you got to put in some kind of work, but Rachel said, I'm single and I ain't looking, but I live in a neighborhood with women that obviously didn't know what they were choosing. It's like you can see the evidence of it. Yeah.
That's deep. And it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Okay, y'all, we're gonna get out of here. It's been a pleasure. We come to y'all every week and we leave here in peace. I hope everybody enjoys their week, and I'm wishing prosperity and abundance for everybody.
Have a blessed week.
All right, peace.